when you were talking about scanning outdoors with the Matterport Pro 3 camera, do you have vacant lots that you're asked to do? Is that come up?
We get a lot of requests to do drone shots of vacant lots, and I think that that's very interesting. I think also in the pre-renovation phase, other properties, we may be able to use the Pro 3 for elevation and for helping us do, and I have to test this, and I don't know if anybody has done this test yet, but I want to know if the Matterport Pro 3 is comparable to a site survey done by a surveyor that would be going to a residential property to do that kind of, site survey, whatever you call it, and also sort of is there a cost analysis that can be done as well?
Yeah, so interesting questions. We did a show that's sort of kind of on this topic with a Matterport service provider that uses typically a BLK 360 scanner or higher. And I think his conclusion was if the client needs to specify the level of detail, the LOD, and typically he in that discussion about the Matterport Matter Pack, the E57 files, and in doing elevations of properties, he had some angst because he would describe the Pro 3 level of detail, LOD, as I want to say 100. I may have that wrong, but whatever that language is for a surveyor, they might say, oh, we really need LOD 200, LOD 300, LOD 400. So it probably is asking the client, what LOD do you require? Because I'm going to guess that Matterport service providers using a Matterport Pro 3 camera are not going to replace people whose title are surveyor that show up with a $40, $50, $60, $80,000 LiDAR scanner.
So, you'd be surprised though, because you don't know. I mean, for some people, the lower LOD is enough to do the sketches, but yeah, I mean, I wonder.
Point taken. So if you can bring out a laser measure with you and take some points from A to B and be able to I don't know what the term would be, scale the model properly so to say, if you did a very large space and the Pro 3 camera is off by X number of inches or feet even, then you could scale back the model by taking some critical measurements in order to get it to a level of scale that might be necessary for doing those elevations.
Yeah, that's such a good question, and I feel like there was definitely on the forums that I was reading on this particular topic, there was more angst than there was relief.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing to be able to say, to your point, sometimes less data is actually better. And if you use a $40, $50, $80,000 scanner and you're creating a lot of data, a lot of point cloud, a lot of mesh, the overhead, the processing, the importing, exporting, moving data around just may be unnecessary.
Yeah,
you're going to put a picture frame up on the wall, you may just need a hammer and a nail rather than a motorized nail hammer thing that you might use on putting the roof on a house. So maybe the Pro 3 is, I guess I would probably say it's probably up to the client, is for the client to be able to specify, well, as long as you have level of detail of 100, I'm okay. And if Matterport says Matterport Pro 3 is a level of detail of 100, then you're probably okay. But that's probably a really interesting question. I don't know if we'd get that resolved today, is can you use a Matterport Pro 3 camera to do outdoor elevations? And that's a good question. It may be sufficient for the architect who needs to reimagine what that existing space looks like and doesn't necessarily need it to be millimeter accurate.